Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, respected colleagues. We are here to comment on yesterday's announcement of the arrests of 2 individuals on terror-related charges in Toronto and Montreal. My name is Amira Elgawaby. I'm the Human Rights Coordinator at the Canadian Council on American-Islamic Relations. The format of today's press conference will be a short statement from our organization and invited guests, and then we will take questions. The people that will be speaking today in this order will be Ihsaan, Gardee, the Executive Director of the Canadian Council on American-Islamic Relations, CAIR.CAN, Imam Samy Metwally from the Ottawa Muslim Association, Safaa Fouda, who is the board member of the Ottawa Muslim Women's Organization, and finally, Mohammed Azhar Ali Khan, member of the Order of Canada and founder of the Muslim Coordinating Council of the National Capital Region. So we'll start with Ihsaan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, respected colleagues. Thank you for joining us today. As my colleague said, my name is Ihsaan Gardee. I'm the Executive Director of CAIR.CAN, the Canadian Council on American-Islamic Relations. Firstly, we would like to praise the law enforcement authorities involved for thwarting this alleged terror attack. Canadian Muslims have and will continue to unequivocally denounce this or any other alleged terror plots by individuals who distort and pervert our faith to further their own political goals or personal agendas. We emphasize the sacredness of life, reject any express statement or tacit insinuation that anyone should harm innocent people, and our message to anyone who espouses this ideology of violence is this: you have nothing to do with our faith. Like all Canadians, we want to feel safe and protected in our own country, and while some have raised concerns about a potential backlash, we fully trust that our fellow citizens will see this for what it is: the alleged criminal and misguided actions of a few who do not reflect or represent Canadian Muslim communities. At the same time, we want to highlight that the initial tip to authorities regarding this plot came from within the Muslim community. The authorities have said that without the Muslim community's intervention, yesterday's announcement may not have been possible. This is a clear demonstration that Canadian Muslims, whose welfare is tied to that of our fellow citizens, are in fact partners for peace. We hope to hear this message reiterated from our political representatives, including the Prime Minister of Canada. At this time, we reiterate our call to all Canadians to report any knowledge that they have about criminal activities to the authorities. Terrorism and extremist violence affects all Canadians. As such, it is critical that all people and sectors of society, including our political, educational, and community leaders, work together to combat this disease. We have full faith in our justice system that these 2 individuals will be accorded due process, and understand the difficult job that law enforcement authorities have in balancing the need for effective security tools with our cherished civil liberties. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with you and the mercy of God and His blessings. This is the greetings of Islam. My name is Imam Samy Metwally, Imam of Ottawa Main Mosque. While condemning these heinous crimes and any threat against people, we say that there is no justification in Islam to kill innocent people like what happened in Boston, or to threat people's life in any way like what we see here in Canada. If anyone, the Quran, the message that we receive from the Quran, there is a verse in the Quran that says, if anyone or whoever kills a soul without identifying whether it is a Muslim soul or a non-Muslim soul, it is as if he killed all humanity. And whoever saves a soul, again, it will be as if he saved the whole humanity. This is the message that we receive from the Quran. And while we are thanking today the RCMP and the Imam who reported this, I would like to say that it's a religious duty from an Islamic perspective and from all religious perspectives as well without me speaking on other religions, but I speak from Islamic perspective that it's a religious duty to speak up against anything that might put people's life in danger. My role as an imam is to give the right message about Islam, is to make sure that the community is doing good, is to implant or to promote good in the society, and to promote the right understanding of Islam. Before coming here to Canada, I was in the United States as a Fulbright scholar while taking master's degree in Islamic studies and Christian-Muslim relations. I visited many churches and many synagogues. The same happened here in Canada. While coming here, the elders of my society, of my community, they told me that while we were building the main mosque in Ottawa here many years ago, while building it, there was a church next door in which they offered their place in order for Muslims to do their worship service. And while the church was renovating the place, we were offering the mosque to do their worship service in the mosque. This is the message we give to our community, to promote good and to stay away from anything that might be harmful to any member of our community. Thank
you. Greetings of peace to all of you. As a mother and a grandmother and as a member of the Ottawa Muslim Women's Organization, I can't emphasize enough the role of parents in instilling Canadian values to their children from a very young age. So today, I urge all parents, Muslims and mainstream Canadians, to work with their children at very young age, get involved with the schools, talk to the teachers, be part and parcel of your child's life, and share celebrations with your neighbor so that the child will grow up knowing that he belongs to this society, and eliminate the us and them vocabulary from your words completely, so that you have a child who is part and parcel of this society, feeling of belonging. This should not take away from preserving the faith identity. In fact, it would strengthen and the confidence about the faith identity. This should offer a preventive measure of lasting effect rather than coming back and lecturing grown-up people about Canadian values. And I'm saying that looking down the road to build a preventive measure as opposed to always worrying about corrective measures. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, I think we should put this incident in its perspective, however disturbing it is. Namely, that when 1,000 planes land, that is not news. But if one plane has a trouble or problem, that becomes news. And it should be our effort to make sure that even that one plane doesn't have any trouble. It's also important to remember that if you study the terrorism acts or violence or crime in North America, Western Europe in the last decade or so, you will find that Muslims constitute a very tiny percentage of those people who were involved. We live, unfortunately, in very disturbed times where the social media are very powerful, and people who are living under stress, whether they are Muslims or Christians or Jews or anybody else, can be affected by these. We don't know the details of this particular situation. But I can tell you, ever since I came here, we have lived in peace. In fact, you will find that Muslim Canadians are the greatest admirers of Canada, because they come from lands which were under colonialism, which suffered civil war or dictatorships. So therefore they deeply value the freedom, democracy, the rule of law, and the acceptance that prevails in Canada. That does not mean that we can become complacent. I think this incident tells us that there's a greater need for even closer cooperation between Muslim organizations and authorities. And I can tell you that in every dinner or function that is arranged by any Muslim organizations, the RCMP and police chiefs and all the parliamentarians and prominent Canadians are always invited, and many times they do attend. But we need to intensify this cooperation. This also emphasizes the need for better cooperation between Canadian Muslims and our fellow Canadians of other faiths. This has been going on for a long time through interfaith work, which most Muslim organizations are doing. But we need to intensify it. I founded the Muslim Coordinating Council of the National Capital Region. This now has 40 Muslim organizations, including Shias, Sunnis, Somalis, Afars to Yemenis, women's organizations and student organizations. And our first objective is to work with fellow Canadians of other backgrounds and other faiths to make Canada a better country for all Canadians. Our second objective is to uplift the most needy in our community, Muslim and non-Muslim, including refugees, women victims of violence, youth who are misguided into violence, and so on. And this work has also been ongoing. It's not reported, but it's going on. For example, I'll give you one example. Just a few days ago, Rabbi Bulka and I wrote an article in the Canadian Jewish News on why Canadian Muslims and Jews should work together to promote harmony among all Canadians. And just last Sunday, I was invited to speak to the India-Canada Friendship Society, and I spoke there and we discussed how we can work together, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, to help our Aboriginal people, food banks, hospitals, and others. I emphasize that Canada is not perfect, but it is the best country in the world in the opinion of most Canadians and most Canadian Muslims. And we are an integral part of Canada, and we intend to contribute every day to making Canada an even better country for all of us. This is where our children will live, this is where we have come to, and this will be our effort, but this incident emphasizes that we need to intensify our efforts and work even closer together. So we need to make Canada an even better country and a model of peace, harmony for the rest of the world. And these ideals are exactly what Islam teaches us, because Islam teaches us it is one God. He created every living being, and He created different nations so that they may get to know each other and cooperate with each other. He could have made every human being a Muslim or Christian or Jew, but He made them different. But that does not mean that we should dislike each other or discriminate each other. God did not ask me whether I wanted to be born a Muslim or not. He chose. So therefore, God decided where people should be born, and we respect and may